of love, money, and worthiness. I'm your host, Zara J. And today's episode is a very potent one. We're going to be exploring some of the things that most people never stop to question, which really is, am I living out emotional patterns when it comes to my love, my money, my finances, my goals that are actually mine, or am I actually living out ones that are inherited from my family, my parents, my ancestors, other people around me? Are these patterns or beliefs that I have chosen, or are they ones that I've just taken on due to my proximity to others? If you have ever wondered why you keep attracting maybe emotionally available relationships, maybe you do a lot of people pleasing, might find yourself hustling for financial stability, or maybe even you find yourself stuck in cycles of feeling not enough, not good enough, or not enough money, not enough time, not enough love, anything like that, then you're not alone. Today, we are getting really, really honest about where these patterns come from, how to recognize them, and what it actually takes to break free. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, what are inherited emotional patterns? When we're talking about your emotional patterns and inheriting them from others, they're basically the unspoken beliefs, fears, behaviors that you absorb from your environment, especially when it comes to your family system, often before you're even consciously aware of them. So if you understand that most of your beliefs, most of your subconscious beliefs in your blocks started between the ages of 0 to 7, especially 0 to 14. I personally believe that it goes up until your frontal lobe is fully developed, which is age 25. But during those first 14 years, you are taking in a ton of messaging on how to survive, what makes you lovable, what is acceptable, all of those types of things. So, depending on your family environment, your friends, the media that you consume, just all of the messages around you, most of the beliefs that you are channeling life through is coming through that lens, unless you are consciously aware about rewiring them or actively deciding to choose different. So, this could look like if you had a mother who stayed in survival mode all the time, whether it came to love, money, opportunities, her emotional well being was always triggered from a place of survival. Then, what that may have taught you is that love, work, money, all of that came from a place of sacrifice, which then you inherited those same beliefs that you must sacrifice in love. You must sacrifice financially. You must sacrifice when it comes to your goals, and you're playing out that pattern. It could look like having a father who never really felt emotionally safe receiving help. And maybe he was just like super in his wounded masculine. He didn't lean on anybody. He wasn't emotionally present, wasn't emotionally available. He never asked for support, never asked for help. And so you've modeled that same emotional shutdown type of behavior, and you're not able to ask for support, be vulnerable, seek help, any of those things either. It could also be just generational scarcity mindsets around money, hustle, lack, anything financially that makes you always think from a place of scarcity rather than from a place of abundance. So I just want you to ask yourself really quickly, just take a moment, ask yourself, have you ever felt like your reactions in relationships or with money aren't even yours? Like you have this fear or this distrust or the scarcity that is not even necessarily a reflection of your current circumstance. Let me give you an example. Um, I could be working with someone and they could be doing pretty well financially. I'm talking about like around the six-figure mark financially. Yet, their lifestyle, their choices, the fears that they have around spending money, around savings, around, and when I say their fear around savings means they feel like they have to save and hoard everything. They're afraid to invest, whether that's invest in themselves, give themselves upgraded experiences, pay for convenience. They feel like they have to DIY everything in life. They don't pay for that extra level of support. Their lifestyle and their money habits aren't a reflection of their actual financial income or their financial stability. This could look like in relationships. Maybe you've never been cheated on, or you've never been abused in a narcissistic relationship, but you have this deep inherent fear of that happening to you. Maybe you have had some poor relationships and you have locked into those, but what you were drawn to and what you were attracted to was something that was passed down because of what you've seen your mother attracted to, or maybe even what you've seen your father attracted to when it comes to relationships. Maybe you're just repeating the toxic patterns that you saw inside of your home if you come from a two-parent home or come from a dysfunctional family background. Or you could come from a pretty stable background, whether it's in love or money. But some of the conversations and the messages around you reflected behaviors that are from a place of wounds, lack, scarcity, fear, disbelief, all of that. So if you can relate to any of that, then that's just a simple sign that you're carrying some emotional DNA that doesn't actually belong to you. So what are some additional signs that you're operating in inherited emotional patterns? You could be continuing to date the same versions of the same emotionally unavailable person over and over again. I would see this all the time. For those of you who don't know, aren't familiar, my other business is Captivating Courtship. I've had that business for some years, but my background has been in the relationship industry for a decade. So over the 10 years, I've seen a lot. And when it comes to relationships, dating, courtship, marriage, all of that. And something that was super, super common, especially when women would come to work with me, is the fact that they have been attracting the same man, the same circumstance over and over and over again, just a different face, a different package, same gift. They're attracting the same situationships, the same men who are uncertain, the same men who aren't ready. They're attracting the same person, the same types of breakups, the same circumstance over and over and over again, because they're operating in an emotional pattern. Maybe you find yourself having a hard time receiving love or receiving money without guilt, or just receiving anything. It could be receiving compliments. It could be receiving gifts. It could be receiving something good and you feel guilty. You feel like you're automatically owed and you have to give to someone else to get that energy off of you because you feel guilty. Maybe if a relationship is going too good, you find a way to sabotage it. Maybe if you've been doing really well with your finances, or you've been receiving like money in, you've been making more money, receiving more job opportunities. Maybe people are just sending you money, giving you money, and you're finding a way to feel guilty for it, like you're asking for too much, or maybe you're not fully deserving of it. Anything like that is a reflection of guilt or some old emotional patterns that's lingering in your DNA. Maybe you have a fear of too much or not enough. And this is where this pendulum can swing when it comes to feast or famine. Maybe when you have things going very well, like I said, whether it's in love or relationships going very well, you find a way to cause an argument. You find a way to self-sabotage. Maybe you even cheat if you're a cheater, if that's your thing. Maybe when it comes to love or money, you're always in a space of feeling like not enough, or you're only getting just enough. You're not fully satisfied. You don't have the relationship that you actually desire. You don't have the type of love that you actually desire. You don't have the type of money or the type of a lifestyle that you actually desire. It's always feeling like you're just skimming by and you're never fully breaking through and sustaining that for a period of time. Maybe you self-sabotage once things are going well. You overgive, you shrink in order to keep the peace. You don't speak up. You don't use your voice. You don't allow yourself to be seen. You don't express boundaries. Or your relationship with money mirrors your relationship with your love life in that pendulum that I mentioned about that feast or famine. Overworking for love, overworking for financial security, always feel like you have to prove yourself or hustle super hard or overgive in order to get anything in return. If any of that sounds like you, I promise you that these are not behaviors or patterns that you have chosen. These are dynamics that are just running the show due to your subconscious beliefs until you decide and you do the actual work to interrupt that pattern. Now, the reason that inherited patterns will feel so familiar, even though they're super limiting, is because of your nervous system. Your nervous system is going to cling to what feels familiar. And it's really important for you to understand that. Just because it's something that seems easy or it's all you've ever seen, around you, or it's all you know, or you've been operating this way for so long, doesn't mean that's actually who you are or your authentic way of being. You are playing out a pattern based upon how you've been programmed from childhood, from your teen years, your early adulthood, and you're just on rinse and repeat year after year, every 3 to 6 months. Some people, I know for me, I always felt like I was on a 3 year cycle. About every 3 to 5 years, here comes another rock bottom. Every 3 years, here comes another major circumstance. And it's like I'm always finding myself right back in that same loop, never really fully breaking through to surpass the threshold. Like that was always me. And I've talked to so many clients who will feel the same exact way. By the way, before I go any further, sorry, this just popped into my head, but if this is something that you are struggling with, I truly do invite you to book a consultation with us at the Love Loft and make the decision to join the 6-week Love and Money expansion. This is a very specific course program that is for 6 weeks, where you're going to walk through all of these love and money, generational love and money patterns. You're going to walk through rewiring, addressing your subconscious love and money blocks. And you're also going to get 2 personalized private sessions to go with that as well. With those private sessions, you can choose between like guidance coaching, you can choose Reiki, a sound bath, breath work, anything to help you to regulate your nervous system and give you the proper guidance over the 6-week period. But this is going to be the perfect boost for you to not only do the inner work, and you also get community session with it. You actually get to participate in community along with this, and you're getting the private guidance. So this is going to be a wonderful investment for you. If you are serious about trying to do the work, this 6-week track is going to be perfect for you. And this is exclusive to the Love and Money expansion. And this is like the initial way that you come into being a part of the Love Loft. So if you are looking to actually do the work and you want to make sure that this is the right next step for you, and you want to shift this over the next 6 weeks, then I invite you to book a consultation, join the 6-week Love and Money expansion. It is such a great investment, and it's super affordable no matter where you are right now. If it's something that you seriously want to do, you can make the decision to make this investment. It's less than $1,000 for you to invest in it. So you don't have to worry about burning out your pockets, or, you're not fully ready. You can figure out how to make that decision to take this first step forward and get the support that you need. And you will see a big change in yourself in just 6 weeks. So I invite you to do that. The link and the information is in the show notes. Now let's go back to why your inherited patterns feel so familiar. Your nervous system. Your nervous system is clinging to what is familiar. It is playing out in a loop over and over again, even if it's painful, even if you don't like it, even if you want to grow out of it. Because it's familiar, it is safe. And so this is why it's so important for you to actually take the time, do the work, invest in yourself in this way. I want you to make the decision that you are so worthy, so deserving of having the life, having the love, having the money that you desire, that you are willing to take a step back, go inward, do the work on yourself, do the clearings, do the groundings, do everything that you need. We provide you with all of the tools inside the Rewire Vault. We provide you with all the tools inside the 6-week expansion to address this initial shifts. You do this work, and you make the decision that you are worth it. Your life is worth it. Your goals are worth it. Your next level is worth it. And you will see a big transformation. But where your nervous system is clinging to this idea of safety with the familiar, even though it feels broken, you don't like it, you don't want to be this version of yourself anymore. This is where you have to become more aware and just take responsibility. Even though it's not your fault, it is 100% not your fault if you've been stuck in a scarcity mindset, stuck in these scarcity patterns, stuck in these emotional patterns, keep repeating the same cycles over and over again. But it's within your power to rewire them. Now, something that I have, personally experienced, like I said, was being in these every 3-year cycles. And that was one of the worst things that I can say that has affected my life and that I wish that I would have become more aware of it when I was much younger was my scarcity mindset. I didn't start to become aware of my scarcity way of thinking until really, I would say, about 2019. About 2019. Prior to that, I would say in 2017 was when my awareness started to rise. Like I started really getting into my spirituality, really getting into my faith. If you don't know, like my background is Muslim, like I'm Muslim, still Muslim, nothing has changed. But I'm deeply spiritual, and when it comes to all the things. And I really started getting grounded into my faith, I would say around 2017, but I also started getting into meditation, trying to understand myself on a deeper level. But it was around 2019 that I went through some major challenges that year that really pushed me into a rock bottom, that caused me to start to study the brain and neuroscience and how all this works. That was the same year that I became clear on these patterns, on the 8 love loop patterns, and started working with those. This was the year that I started getting into hypnosis and sound baths and Reiki, got certified in Reiki, and all of the things that we do here at the Love Loft. So 2019 was a majorly impactful year for me when it came to inner transformation and really understanding myself. And then the next year, 2020, was when I launched the Captivating Courtship, and I let go of matchmaking, jumped into Captivating Courtship, and that has been quite the journey with Captivating Courtship. The Captivating Courtship was such an important and monumental time in my life, especially during the pandemic, deciding to launch that business in a pandemic, because it allowed me to implement a lot of the things that I now do here at the Love Loft when it comes to the coaching, but it also allowed me to even study those patterns, the 8 love loops, on a much deeper level by working with my clients up close. So very, very grateful. But I was not fully aware of how bad my scarcity mindset was until 2019. And I started to really work on my patterns in all areas of life, whether it was in my love life, in my finances, in my business, how I approached my goals, how I communicated, how I emotionally reacted, to take more control of them. But even still, it's been quite the journey. It doesn't stop. And this is why, if you decide to, like, if I'm working with you in the Love Loft, or if you're a member of the Love Loft, don't stop doing the work. I understand you might take some breaks, you might need some time to yourself. I get it. But the tools that we provide for you at the Love Loft, literally, I use them every single week. Throughout the week, I'm always going back to a workshop, back to a visualization, doing the work to keep myself mentally and emotionally on track and clear-minded on who I want to be and moving in the right direction. The way that I am able now, as this version of me, the way that I'm able to process my emotions, stay very even keeled, even through rough times, even during stressful moments, the way that I now have tools and a process to navigate and to make decisions from a higher place and not from scarcity, not from fear, not from lack. This is so powerful and life-changing compared to the version of myself that I was just 6 years ago. So when I'm telling you that this work helps you to call in the life that you want, to call in the money, the love, the version of yourself, the lifestyle, the material things. It's not just about the material things, even emotionally and spiritually, the version of yourself that you want to be, and just having a deeper connection. The tools that we provide you here at the Love Loft when you have a membership, and we have different tiers of membership. No matter where you are financially, there's some way that you can be supported. We have the embodied essentials. We have the sourced aligned essentials. We have 3 different tiers of membership for you to join that all provide something different. No matter where you are in the world, no matter where your financial circumstances are right now, we provide you an opportunity. I really wanted to make sure that when I launched the 3 tiers of membership for the Love Loft, that I met myself at every level of my investment when I first started investing in myself. So I started with Embodied Essentials, which we have that. It's only $47 for you to join and get access to the Rewire Vault and to a monthly Q&A. I started that because when I first started back in 2019, I was going through a financial rock bottom and I needed to get support. And I first started investing in myself in a monthly membership. And those memberships usually range between like about $27 to about $40 a month. And that was my first steps, my first catalyst for me to start investing in myself and doing the work on myself. So I wanted to make sure that we provided a membership that met that person that's in their rock bottom right where they are. Then my next level of investing, the next time I decided to, within the same year, it's about 6 months later, when I made my first next big investment in myself, I was investing in myself about $300 a month. So I made sure that for the Love Loft, for our tier 2 membership, that it ranges around that same price. So for someone that's in that space of investing in themselves, they have the opportunity to take the next step to go deeper into themselves at that same price point. And then of course, for the next tier up was when I was in a place of investing way more money into myself. And we have several memberships to meet you there, depending on what your needs are and how fast you're trying to get to your next level. But this was really important for me to provide this because I understand that when you are trying to do the work and you are in this place of fear or you have these old inherited emotional patterns, you're going to have fear when it comes to just taking the next step and peeling the layers back and looking at yourself. But you have to do this because there is something so much better and so much greater waiting for you when you're able to release these old stories, release these old patterns, and really step into that next version of yourself. Now, when we're looking at the link between love and money, many of us will try to separate our love life from our money life or from our financial goals, but emotionally, they're deeply connected. Love and money is always connected. There's a through line, there's a link between that. I am so grateful because Lacey Phillips taught me that. But they both reflect how you receive, how you value yourself, and how you relate to safety, visibility, and expansion. Let me repeat that for you in case you need that nugget again. The connection, the emotional connection, when it comes to your love and money, there's always going to be a connection on how you receive. Are you receiving from a place of scarcity or abundance? Are you connecting from a place of scarcity or abundance? Are you able to receive? The receiving is the feminine. How do you value yourself? What are you tolerating? What are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? Where are you stepping into your worth? Where are you shrinking and settling? The worth is connected to the masculine. And how do you relate to safety, visibility, and expansion? These things are all still connected to your worthiness, but your emotional safety and capacity to be able to step into feeling safe, feeling secure, being visible, and expansion, being able to grow into that next level is all linked when you look at your love of money. You will always see how you're doing one is how you're doing another. Where one is shaky, the other one will be as well. So if your emotional blueprint says that love equals struggle, the chances are that you believe that money requires struggle too. If you have an underlying belief that love is scarce, you are going to, without you realizing subconsciously, also believe that money is scarce as well. So there's always a connection. If you can't figure out what your connection is, like I said, you can feel free to book a consultation or just sign up for a membership and do the work to figure out where your blocks are. But there's always going to be a link. And these subconscious beliefs is what's holding you back from the love, the money, the worth, the next level that you want right now. So how are you going to start rewiring this loop? If this episode is activating you, if you feel like there's something inside of you that is like, okay, so what's next? So how am I going to do this? I want to take the next step forward. That's great because that means that you are awakening and your patterns are ready to take a shift. So the first thing I want you to do is you need to identify the loop. So when we look at your love loop pattern, if you haven't taken the quiz, the link is in the show notes. Go ahead, take the quiz. It just takes a few minutes. Take the quiz to find out your pattern archetype. Your pattern archetype is going to tell you what is your core wound in your core belief. This is going to be the root of your emotional story that you keep playing out when it comes to love and money. This isn't the only answer, but this is the root. So this is where you're going to become really mindful throughout the day, throughout life, when you're making choices or when you're relating to a partner, when you are, out with your friends. You just want to be mindful of, or spending money, saving money, any of that, charging prices, going after opportunities. I can keep going on, but you just want to be mindful of, where is this playing out? Where is this pattern showing up in my love life or my money? This core wound. Each love loop has a different core wound and a different core belief. For mine, I'm the trophy chasers. Mine is always not enough. Always not enough. So I have to be very, very intentional of mindful of, where am I showing up and making decisions that's going to reinforce the belief of not enough. This is why, how we price things at the Love Loft, how I make different decisions in my life. When I am, just anything that's going on around me, I have to ask myself, okay, is this a reflection that's going to keep me in not enough mode? Is this a decision that's going to keep me from a place of scarcity? Am I stepping into an aligned version of myself or a lower version of myself? Where am I creating a cycle that maybe not today, maybe it's in a few weeks, maybe it's in a few months, I'm going to be right back in a place of feeling like not enough? This is where you get to make a conscious decision to change the loop. But you have to have that heightened sense of awareness to be able to play this out. I also like to push myself just a little bit further, do just a little bit more, even when I feel like I've done enough, do just a little bit more, not from a place of hustle or proving, but from a place of abundance. This weekend, for example, over the weekend, I was at a family reunion in Virginia, had a wonderful time, had an amazing time at my family reunion. It was so good. I felt like I was receiving so much love, so much abundance, just like people doing things for me, paying for things for me, giving things for me, feeding me. I received so much that when I came back the next day, on Monday, I was like, I want to put this energy back out to the world. And not because I feel guilt, not because I feel shame, but just from a place of abundance of like, how can I give so much love right back out into the world from all the love that I received? I didn't want to just take and just be in a place of just taking, but I really wanted to give from a place of abundance. So that was a place for me. And this is just like, maybe not the best example, but that's an example of where I focus on overflow. How can I flow this back out? When it comes to money, or when it comes to even like in love, like I'm always like from a place of, how can I make decisions? How does this fill me up? How does this fill me up? How does this make me feel like I'm receiving more than enough, and I'm also giving from a place of abundance? But most importantly is the receiving from more than enough. If I am making decisions from fear, from scarcity, from a belief that I cannot have, or I'm asking for too much, or I just need to do just enough, I just need to charge just enough, I just need just enough love, just enough attention, just enough connection, just enough affection, that is a scarcity mindset for a trophy chaser. And that is going to keep a self-fulfilling cycle, a self-fulfilling prophecy of scarcity, of not having enough, not being enough, not doing enough, all those things. So you have to be very mindful. For your love loop pattern, it's whatever is specific to you. And if you've taken the quiz, you should know what your core belief is. Now, the next thing that you want to do, you want to connect the inheritance and figure out, who did you learn this from? Is this belief actually yours, or is this someone else? Now, in the 6-week Love and Money expansion, one of the first things that you do is you go to the generational love and the generational money workshops. These are 2 workshops that are inside of the 6-week expansion. And through those, you're going to be able to work to figure out the money beliefs and the love beliefs that you have. Are these yours, or were these inherited? And I love the workshops and the visualizations specifically for this first step of rewiring your love and money beliefs. because with this, you get to truly get to the root and figure out, where did this actually come from? Once you are consciously aware of if this is something that you actually believe and it's authentic to you, or is it something that you inherited, you have the power to let it go. You have the power to choose something different. You have the power to rewire it. So it's really important to get to the root and figure out, where did the story actually come from. The next thing that you want to do is make the decision to choose a new way. Sometimes when I'm working with someone, whether it's like a love and money mentorship, or if it's just a member of the Love Loft, if I'm working with someone and they are trying to figure out why haven't they been able to maintain changes over time, or they have a breakthrough, they have a positive experience, and then they end up defaulting, going right back to their old ways. The reason why you're stuck in this pattern is because you have not fully committed and made the decision to choose something different. Your patterns are not your personality. It's not just the way you are. You can make the decision to rewire. You can make a decision to choose something different, but you're going to have to consistently reinforce a new belief and a new way of being. You're going to have to see yourself and identify as a different version of yourself. And that requires some changes. It requires you to, one, become aware of what's actually going on. It's going to require you to have a new vision, have a new goal for yourself. It's going to require you to push yourself into new environments, to get around new people. This is why for the Love Loft, one of the things that I'm very excited about will be our Sunday Sanctuary, our community sessions, whether it's virtual or online, but building a community of people who are serious about their inner work, about the personal development, about doing the work, because you need community, you need support when you have outgrown your circles. Let me say this, and I've been meaning to write an Inside the Love Loft email about this. If you do not have people to go with you on the journey, that is a problem. If you have goals and you look at the people around you and they cannot support you in that goals, they might support you with positive encouragement, but they cannot help you obtain those goals. They cannot help you to maintain that level of personal development or inner work. They are not those around you that can guide you through the process. You need to be in community with other people who can. You need to be surrounded by those that are in alignment with where you currently are. It doesn't mean that you don't love the people that have gotten you this far. It doesn't mean you have to completely disassociate, but you do have to understand when it's time for you to leave the room. You have to understand when it's time for you to outgrow the room and to choose to put yourself into new spaces. And if you are on this track of trying to do better, trying to level up in love and money, and you don't have friends to go along with you, they're not interested, maybe they are interested, but they won't actually take any actual action to make any changes. Maybe they can't guide you. Maybe they don't have the money to go along with you. Like, whatever those things are, you have to be a grown-up about it. Make the decision to put yourself in new spaces, to put yourself in new rooms. Make the decision that you have outgrown your current snow globe and it's time for you to move into the next one. You have to make those decisions. You're holding yourself up by not making the decision to move into new rooms and to move into new communities, or just simply to be in community. So you have to be really aware of, when is it time for you to level up your environment, whether it's virtual, in person, or whatever. You have to make that decision. And when I say this, I'm not talking about only leveling up the type of restaurants or house that you have or the car that you drive. I'm talking about the communities, the people that you spend time with, because you are the sum of those people. You are the sum of your environment, your mental environment, your emotional environment, your spiritual environment. And if the people that you love so dearly cannot help you to grow to who you need to become, you must not only go into new rooms and new spaces, but stay there until you have outgrown there. You have to do the work to grow and be in community with those who can help you to go where you're trying to go. So I hope that this episode was helpful, and I hope that you make the decision to become a member and to join me here at the Love Loft. And I would suggest for you to kick it off with the new 6-week expansion. So if you want to get access to that, or if you want a 1-day guest pass so that you can actually get an idea of what the expansion is and what we do here at the Love Loft, then you want to go ahead and book a consultation so that you can be supported. Get that 1-day pass, join the 6-week expansion, put your money on you. Bet your money on you. You are always going to be your greatest investment, and you will always have the greatest ROI by betting on yourself and investing in yourself. So I hope that this was helpful. Go to the link in the show notes to take the quiz, to sign up for the 6-week expansion, or to book a consultation to figure out how we can support you here at the Love Loft. And I hope that you share this episode with someone that you know and love that could benefit from this information. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.